The long wait until Pokemon Winds and Waves continues, with rumors floating about that we might not get any official news until next year. But once again, out of absolutely nowhere, the leaks are delivering. Spoiler warning for potential Winds and Wave leaks, of course. So every leaker's favorite account posted that Winds and Waves will have the highest amount of new Pokemon ever in a Pokemon game, with around 300 new Pokemon/forms. With this being the original tweet that Centro's referring to elaborate, the dex in the most current build of Winds and Waves has 531 slots, with 307 of them being placeholders, and thus new Pokemon species. Immediately, any longtime Pokemon fan will think that is absolutely ridiculous. 300 Pokemon? If we take a look back through the generations, the most we've ever gotten was, I believe, Pokemon Black and White, which introduced 156 new Pokemon, not including forms. I don't know about y'all, but I'm smelling something fishy, and it's not that guy. So what exactly could the leakers mean when they say there will be 300 new Pokemon in Winds and Waves? Well, let's have a look. On Bulbapedia, you can find a list of Pokemon by index number, which is an unseen number used to identify them in the game's ROM. And I assume this is what leakers are referring to when they say there's over 300 placeholders. If we go all the way to the bottom here, you can see there certain Pokemon go beyond the dex number. Like here, it says this represents Deoxys speed. And in Pokemon Black and White 2, there's even specific entries for the sprites that appear in Pokestar Studios. Not exactly Pokemon, but they still counted as Pokédex entries in the internal game files. So even though there's only 649 Pokemon in Black and White, with the alternate forms, you can see it goes all the way up to 708. I think this could be a very plausible explanation for why we're getting reports of 300 new Pokemon/forms. That's really the key right here, that I don't think each and every single one of these 300 placeholder entries are exactly new Pokemon, and they might not even exactly be forms in the traditional sense, like regional variants or mega evolutions. Under this original post, Centro actually addresses the question of how ridiculous the claim of 300 new Pokemon sounds. They know, that's why we're hesitant on posting. However, since this information came to light, we've been able to independently verify with other sources, and they've heard similar information about the high number of new Pokemon. I don't exactly know what build it was, but according to Kurwa, this is the most current build that leakers had access to. So that number could definitely go down by the final version. Sometimes there are these placeholder entries that end up getting completely scrapped by the final game. But if you ask me, the leap from like the usual 100 to 150 that we get in a new generation to 300 is pretty drastic, so there's definitely something going on, some kind of new form that there's going to be a lot more of than what we're used to in previous generations. Originally, I thought the answer might have to do with the supposed Majin gimmick that's coming, which in case you don't know is apparently related to weather. The only hint we really have is this blobby sort of Pikachu, which I speculate might have something to do with the rain weather. Maybe Pikachu changes when it's in the rain to electric water type, or just has some unique properties in the rain. I initially thought more Pokemon could get these Majin variants, and that would account for the 300 quote-unquote new species. You know, each Majin form would count as a separate Pokemon, and some could even have multiple Majin forms, like maybe there's a different Pikachu for each of the different weathers. But at least according to this later tweet from Centro, that might not be the case at all. As an update, the 300 new Pokemon number is composed of brand new Pokemon plus regional form. Wait, whoa. It does not include new weather forms, or if a Pokemon has multiple forms. Huh? This is exactly what I was thinking, but now they're saying it's actually just 300 new Pokemon. I don't even know what to think. There's a lot of Pokemon with form differences. If each of these counted as its own separate Pokédex entry, we'd be closer to somewhere around 2,000 unique Pokemon, without counting some ridiculous stuff like Spinda patterns. That's the only way I can see there actually being over 300 new Pokemon. Now, the account that posted that original leak has a couple of other clarifications here about Majin specifically, the new gimmick, or should I say Netsu? This translates to child fever. Okay. Kind of taking this as like the box legendaries will have a lot more forms than usual, maybe one for each weather type. Again, it's not really clear if that would count as separate entries. With regards to Pokédex size this time around, designing form changes has inevitably slowed things down to an extent. So they're actually saying the reason why Winds and Waves might be taking so long is the amount of Pokemon, and specifically the form changes, which is interesting because, you know, in that previous post, they said 307 new Pokemon species, but they're definitely not just new species, it's new species and some variations. A lot of people in the comments do seem to be agreeing with this. It's not exactly 307 new Pokemon. Could be up to 150. That would put it up there with Black and White, plus 150 forms of old Pokemon. There's of course going to be regional variants too, or at least it'd be very disappointing if there aren't. There's also this post mentioning Netsu, which I think is their name for the region's gimmick, saying it's pretty widespread throughout the game, as opposed to something like X and Y where only a few trainers use it. I think they're referring to Mega Evolution. There were not a lot of trainers in X and Y that used Megas, but apparently in Winds and Waves there will be quite a lot of trainers that use these new weather forms. Assuming they're not like on the level of Mega Evolutions as far as power goes, you can see a lot more regular trainers using these as opposed to Mega Evolutions or even Z-Moves and Gigantamax, which are usually reserved for the end of the game. Taking a look at some of Centro's other posts, there's actually more potential Winds and Waves leaks via Billy. I don't know who Billy is. We get at least one of these potential new Pokemon out of the 307, a regional evolution of Salandit that becomes Poison Dragon. Oh, that is 100% a Komodo Dragon Pokemon. It's gotta be. And how awesome would it be if it's like only the male Salandits can evolve this time around? Lieutenant Surge's son will be in the game and has his dad's Raichu. That's interesting. I don't think there's going to be Mega Evolutions in Winds and Waves, sadly, but I would love if they brought him back and like we got the Mega Raichu. Voice acting was planned for the game, but could have been cut. No! I know not everyone wants it, but I'm one that personally has been advocating for voice acting in Pokemon. I just feel like some of those scenes in Scarlet and Violet and Legends EA just look and feel so empty without it.
I'm the gym leader, Spikemuth Pierce, the dark type user, bitch!
Some of the Pokemon currently have placeholder special weather forms are... Wait, that literally confirms what I was thinking. Arcanine, Lucario, Kecleon, Pikachu, and 7 new Gen 10 Pokemon. The fact they're only naming 4 returning Pokemon and 7 new ones, that's very little to get to that 300 number. There's definitely going to be more. Winds and Waves will be an ambitious game, and the delay to 2027 was just due to needing more time to finish it. I mean, especially if they have that many new Pokemon and forms. An important note is the only aspect we've been able to verify is the 300 placeholder number. That's one detail we're feeling confident on. All other details should be treated as rumors as they come from individual sources and haven't been cross-checked. So yeah, all those leaks sound pretty cool, but really the only one that I guess you could say is most likely to happen is apparently the 300 Pokemon. If we really get 300 new Pokemon, what do you think about this unprecedented number? I mean, if it was like actually just new species, I do think it's too many because you want individual ones to shine and have a lot of unique things to them, which I think Scarlet and Violet did really well. Almost every single Pokemon in the roster has something unique to love about them. 300 just feels like there would be a lot of quote-unquote throwaway Pokemon or kind of generic, which is why I lean more towards there being the usual amount, like 100 to 150, and the rest being forms. There's another rumored supposed Pokemon coming. We have a very chilly Psyduck, and apparently it's going to have 2 evolutions, or 3 stages total. Supposedly it's going to be Ice and Psychic type, which I think is pretty cool, especially if it's more of a physical attacker, unlike Jinx. Treat it as a rumor for now, of course. Same with the Salandit evolution, but that's 4 out of the 300. So bear with me here, because I have another theory as to how this 300 number could be explained, going back to some of the earlier Winds and Waves leaks. In my past videos, I've used the website Pokédex. I think they have the best compilation of the Winds and Waves leaks. And one specific thing I never got to talk about in my old videos or didn't really dive too deep into is the Seed Pokemon. One of the most ambitious ideas in Project Gaia, aka Winds and Waves, is the Seed Pokemon, a single experimental Pokemon designed to act as a narrative core and key gameplay system for Gen 10. Now here's where it gets tricky, because unlike traditional evolutions, this seed Pokemon has no fixed final form. Its appearance and development are shaped by growth, environment, and player interaction with near infinite variation. We know Winds and Waves are going to be open world, that's confirmed by the official site, but rumors and leaks say that it's going to be quite similar to Scarlet and Violet in that there will be different challenges for each of the 18 types. So this seed Pokemon would essentially evolve differently based on the order in which you complete your adventure. Crucially, the seed Pokemon is not just a creature, but a system. Its growth directly affects the world itself, procedurally shaping islands, environments, and ecosystems, and also functions as a progression gate, unlocking access to key locations, including the legendary islands. I guess in my mind, I think it would just be a normal type, and if you complete the fire gym first, it becomes fire type. But then after, if you complete the water gym or water trial, maybe it becomes fire and water. I don't know where it goes after that though, because like if you beat the electric type, would it override maybe the original fire type, become water electric? The rumors say it has near infinite variations. That seems like a lot more than 300. So how many type combinations are in Pokemon? Apparently 171. That could actually add up with that 307 number minus 171, leaving 136 actual new Pokemon, regional forms, and evolutions. That is a lot more in line with what we've come to expect from new generations. Or Occam's razor, you know, the simplest explanation is the real one, and there actually are just going to be 307 new Pokemon. That is insane, unprecedented for Game Freak, but with Winds and Waves apparently having been in development since like way back in 2020 or 2021, it's been the longest development cycle of any Pokemon game, I believe. And from what we've seen of the region so far, this is going to be a massive island hopping adventure. You can definitely fit 300, or I guess in total, almost 600 Pokemon scattered about these different islands. So maybe there really will just be that many new Pokemon. So let me know what you guys think. Will there really be over 300 new Pokemon in Winds and Waves? And if so, do you think that's too many? Not gonna lie, my excitement for Winds and Waves was definitely dying down, but this has got me right back up. It may end up not being true at all, but until it gets officially unconfirmed, this is getting me quite excited. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Winds and Waves and other Pokemon videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.